Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at some fun facts about the PlayStation 4 you may not have known about.
What about beer? Does it like shoot free beer into my mouth?
No.
Before we begin, we publish new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Rhombus with a purpose. Compared to the rest of Sony's consoles, the PlayStation 4 might look as if it has been arbitrarily designed. The previous consoles were all just boxes with some slight style to them. Why a rhombus? Well, it wasn't just for flair, but efficiency and functionality purposes as well. On the front, the USB ports and power and eject buttons were all shoved to one side so that users could easily find them. As for the reasoning behind the back getting slanted over, this was done to better hide your cables, giving your entertainment center a much cleaner look without all those wires everywhere. Launching to greatness. Though we know the PS4 as a truly great console with its assortment of exclusives, the launch was arguably a bit rough. Yes, we did get some truly great games at the time. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, LEGO Marvel Superheroes, and Injustice Gods Among Us were spectacular titles, but they launched on platforms you most likely already had. As for first party, well, no one was jumping to be among the first to play Knack. At least we had Killzone Shadowfall, which was also so-so. Messages from another world. This is perhaps one of the coolest factoids about the PS4 when looking at its various features. In case you were one of the many people who did not like the way you had to type messages on the PlayStation 3, I was definitely one of them, the PS4 took inspiration from one game many might be familiar with, Dark Souls. Yes, From Software gave Sony an idea on how to make messaging easier for the PS4. Shuhei Yoshida, who served as Sony Worldwide Studios president in 2013, revealed to the public that the messaging format in Dark Souls helped in creating the design of the PS4's messaging system. So, praise the sun for all those times you made use of the quick select words. Vita forever. The poor PlayStation Vita was such a cool handheld, and yet nobody bought it. Oh well. That only means a few got to experience its useful features that worked with the PS4. Okay, the one useful feature.
Change the way you play. With the AT&T broadband network, experience real-time connection to your gaming community.
If you could not afford another DualShock 4, but you supposedly had a PS4 and a Vita, you could connect the Vita to your PS4 to use as a controller, while Player 2 got the DualShock 4. Imagine if Sony had tried turning the two into their own Wii U. Would we have seen a different Sony today? Disk read error. Now, as with most forms of evolution, there are some obsolete functions that got tossed into the ether, never to be seen again. The PS4 was able to read all kinds of formats, USB drives, DVDs, Blu-rays, but what could it not read? Well, despite reading two other disc formats, it could not read the CD, or the compact disc. This was because the PlayStation 4 was not built with the same laser used to read CDs. Hopefully you didn't think your favorite album was busted before throwing it out. Bungie and the DualShock 4. Prior to their acquisition, Bungie did have a hand in making the PlayStation 4 as great as it could be. Well, more so the controller than the console. While Sony was working on the next iteration of the DualShock, they enlisted Bungie's help in how the controller could be the necessary improvement compared to the DualShock 3, especially for shooter games. The studio even assisted in incorporating the share button. This would eventually lead to Destiny putting out a lot of PS4 exclusive content, and of course, their acquisition in 2022. PS4 Fruit Edition. Man, the PS4 was worth the money, but still, $400 was a hefty price to pay. Many folks probably waited for that inevitable price cut of $300, while one young man in France outplayed everybody. In January of 2019, a 19-year-old man managed to walk out of a supermarket having only paid €9, or $12, for his PlayStation 4. How did he do it? He weighed the console on a scale for fruits and veggies and used the self-checkout kiosk. Law enforcement caught him on his second attempt, and the man was sentenced to 4 months behind bars. Room with a view.
You get your favorite channels, your favorite shows, you tag them, they're right there. What about beer? Does it like shoot free beer into my mouth?
No.
Remember PlayStation Vue and PlayStation TV? No? Well, neither did the rest of the MojoPlays team. But I remembered. I always remember.
With PlayStation Vue, you can watch TV on your schedule with crazy amounts of cloud storage.
PlayStation Vue and PlayStation TV were two products Sony developed in an effort to break into the video-on-demand and television streaming markets respectively. If their obscurity wasn't evident already, neither lasted long enough to catch wind. Sony would close down PlayStation Vue in 2020, 5 years after its launch, citing the slow growth in the market. As for PlayStation TV, the service died as quickly as it launched, only surviving a couple of years before its plug was pulled in 2015. At least Aqua Teen Hunger Force got the money.
No hidden fees, no long-term contracts.
What?
Change of plans.
I'm very proud to announce that PlayStation 4 will be available at $399.
In all honesty, this one is mostly based on rumors and talk from circles inside games media and the gaming industry, but it's still worth discussing. You remember how Sony absolutely humiliated Microsoft's Xbox One reveal with a lower price tag and that how to share used games video? Well, apparently that was all last-minute moves from PR.
Thanks.
Over the years, industry insiders have talked about how this was not on the table. Rumor has it that Sony was about to enforce similar policies that Microsoft had for the Xbox One. Then they saw how Microsoft got raked over the coals. Sony clearly saw this as an opportunity for free goodwill and publicity, and it helped them pull the rug out from Microsoft's feet.
Each new platform, we do our very best to earn that trust, and we will continue to prove to you that we have the games, the entertainment, the value, and the innovation to give you the very best place to play.
Flux capacitor not included.
Thanks for joining us for a walk down memory lane, and here's to 20 years of play.
If you followed Sony closely throughout the PS4's life cycle, you probably got to see the plethora of different SKUs with designs inspired by various games. But did you know there was one made to celebrate a historical milestone? December 3rd, 2014 marked the 20th anniversary of PlayStation.
PlayStation 4 20th Anniversary Edition. Perhaps the most limited edition PlayStation we'll ever see.
To commemorate the occasion, Sony released a limited edition of the PS4 where the big Rhombus and the DualShock 4 were modeled after the original PlayStation console. Only 12,300 of these were made, which was the same number of PS1s that were made for launch way back in 1994.
Thanks for joining us, and here's to another 20 great years.
Do you know any fun facts about the PS4? Share with us down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to MojoPlays for more PlayStation greatness.